Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive? Today, we're taking a closer look at a legend, Leonardo da Vinci.
Leonardo da Vinci, huh?
Yeah, but we're not just going to rehash the greatest hits, the Mona Lisa and all that.
Right.
We're going deeper. We've got this transcript from a YouTube video, and it is packed with details about da Vinci's life, his work,
Oh, cool.
his impact. We're going to uncover what made him tick, beyond those iconic paintings that everyone knows.
Well, what always gets me about Da Vinci is that even 500 years later, we are still trying to figure him out.
Yeah.
It's like his notebooks written in that mirror image script.
Oh, yeah, the mirror image script.
There are this puzzle box, inventions, scientific theories, personal notes. It's like he wanted to keep his genius a secret, only revealing it to those who really took the time to look.
Okay, so let's talk about this mirror image thing. It's more than just, like, quirky handwriting, right?
Right.
Was he being secretive, or was there something else going on?
Well, there are a few theories floating around.
Okay.
Some say it was to protect his ideas. Others think it was just more comfortable for a left-handed writer.
Interesting.
But whatever the reason, it adds another layer to the enigma of Da Vinci. It's like he's challenging us to see the world differently. Literally, flipping the script.
I love that, flipping the script. And speaking of unexpected twists, Da Vinci's early life was anything but ordinary. Born in 1452, illegitimate child. Free from expectations.
Right.
Free to explore his talents. It's almost like fate stepped in and said, go ahead, be creative.
Totally. And that lack of formal schooling probably played a role too, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
Not bound by traditional education, free to approach problems with a fresh perspective.
Exactly. So instead of hitting the books, he was out there observing the world, sketching, experimenting.
Yeah.
And his talent, it eventually landed him an apprenticeship with Andrea del Verrocchio,
Oh, wow.
one of Florence's leading artists at the time. It's even thought that a young Da Vinci painted the angel in Verrocchio's Baptism of Christ.
Wow, think about that. So skilled that he was already outshining his master as a teenager.
Yeah.
But even with his artistic talent blossoming, Da Vinci wasn't content with just, sticking to painting.
Yeah.
In a letter to the Duke of Milan, he actually emphasized his engineering and military ideas over his artistic skills.
So he was a bit of a Renaissance multi-hyphenate
Definitely.
artist, engineer, inventor. What else?
Oh, there's more.
I mean, the source material even mentions a working parachute design from the 1480s. That's centuries before anyone else. But was driving this incredible innovation, was it just intellectual curiosity, or was there something more to it?
Well, his notebooks are full of these meticulous observations of nature.
Oh, yeah.
Birds in flight, the flow of water, the human body. He was constantly searching for those underlying principles, the things that governed the world around him.
Right.
And this drive, this need to understand, it fueled his inventions. Portable bridges, a tank-like war machine.
Wow.
He even sketched out ideas for flying machines.
Like his brain was this perpetual motion machine, just churning out ideas. And speaking of machines, his anatomical studies were groundbreaking.
Oh, absolutely.
He dissected over 30 human cadavers, produced detailed drawings of muscles, bones, even the circulatory system.
Yeah.
It's just mind-boggling to think he was doing this centuries before modern medical imaging.
It's like he had X-ray vision or something.
Yeah.
Fueled by this deep desire to understand how things worked. From the mechanics of a woodpecker's tongue to the flow of blood through the heart. That relentless curiosity, that was the foundation of his genius.
But this brings up a fascinating question. The transcript mentions Da Vinci was a vegetarian. He even bought caged birds just to set them free.
Wow.
How do we reconcile this compassion with his designs for war machines? Was it simply a matter of survival in a really tumultuous time, or was there a deeper conflict going on?
That's where it gets really interesting. On one hand, you have Da Vinci, the humanist, fascinated by life, advocating for its preservation.
Right.
But on the other hand, you have Da Vinci, the engineer, designing tools for destruction. Maybe it reflects the complexities of human nature itself,
Yeah.
the capacity for both creation and destruction, empathy and pragmatism.
It really makes you think, was he compartmentalizing, or was he trying to find some sort of balance between these seemingly opposing forces? It's a glimpse into the man behind the genius, a reminder that even brilliant minds grapple with contradictions.
Definitely.
It's amazing how those contradictions still resonate even after 500 years. Makes you wonder if those contradictions actually fueled his creativity.
Yeah, it's possible that push and pull, between those different ideas, it can be incredibly powerful. It can spark some real insight. Speaking of contradictions, Da Vinci was kind of famous for leaving projects unfinished.
Oh, right.
The adoration of the Magi, that giant bronze horse statue.
Hmm.
Even the Last Supper, incomplete.
So was that a sign of like a scattered mind or something? Or could it be that those unfinished works were actually, like stepping stones to something even greater?
Ooh, that's a really interesting way to look at it. Maybe that drive to explore, to keep pushing the boundaries of his knowledge, it meant that some ideas were left behind as he moved on to new things. It's like his mind was this vast landscape, and each unfinished project was like a marker on his journey.
A journey of discovery. And speaking of journeys, his fascination with flight, that was a lifelong pursuit. His notebooks are just filled with sketches of flying machines, inspired by birds, bats, even the way water moves. What did those designs tell us about his understanding of like aerodynamics and engineering?
Da Vinci's approach to flight was really scientific, actually. He studied the anatomy of birds so meticulously, the structure of their wings, their muscles, how they generated lift. His designs for ornithopters, those machines designed to flap like birds, they were all based on those observations.
So he wasn't just like throwing things at the wall and seeing what stuck. There was real method to his madness.
Absolutely real science behind those inventions.
But did any of those flying machines actually get off the ground?
Well, not while he was alive, but centuries later, engineers and historians, they've actually built and tested some of his designs, and a lot of them actually work.
Wow, really?
It's amazing. It's a real testament to his powers of observation and how he translated those observations into functional designs.
That's incredible. It's like he was centuries ahead of his time, like a time traveler sharing his knowledge with the world. But we can't forget that he was more than just an inventor or an artist. He was a keen observer of nature. He documented everything from the flow of water to how plants grow. What can we learn from his approach to understanding the natural world?
His approach was all about direct observation and experimentation. He believed that real knowledge came from experiencing the world firsthand, studying the patterns, the principles. His notebooks are filled with these sketches, these notes that capture the essence of what he saw, not just what things look like, but how they work.
Like he was trying to decode the language of nature itself.
Yeah.
And this reminds me of something else the transcript mentioned, his interest in urban planning. He even envisioned an ideal city, with multi-level streets, canals for waste removal, even ways to control airflow and prevent disease.
It's amazing how forward-thinking he was. He was grappling with problems that we still face today: traffic, sanitation, public health. His ideal city was a testament to his belief in using design to improve people's lives.
So, like a Renaissance Elon Musk, tackling these huge challenges with a visionary approach. But unlike Musk, he didn't have the technology to bring all of his ideas to life. Makes you wonder what he would have accomplished if he had access to today's tools and resources.
It's a fascinating thought. But even without those tools, he left an incredible legacy. Those notebooks, the mirror image script, those detailed drawings. It's like looking into a mind that never stopped questioning, exploring, imagining.
And it's not just the inventions and the art, right? It's his way of thinking, that relentless curiosity, that ability to connect different ideas. That's what makes him such a timeless genius. He reminds us that the lines between art, science, and engineering, they're not always so clear-cut. And sometimes the most groundbreaking ideas come from blurring those lines.
Exactly. And his life story, it shows us that genius isn't just about talent. It's about constantly pursuing knowledge, experimenting, appreciating how everything is connected.
Well, we've talked about his inventions, the anatomy of the flight, even the urban planning. But there's still one big piece of the puzzle we haven't discussed, his art. And where better to start than with his most famous masterpiece, the Mona Lisa.
The Mona Lisa, a painting that, even centuries later, still captivates and mystifies us. It embodies everything Da Vinci mastered: technique, human anatomy, that ability to capture a fleeting moment in time.
And speaking of time, it's amazing how a painting from the early 1500s can still feel so relevant today. What is it about the Mona Lisa that keeps drawing those crowds, sparking all that debate? Is it the smile, the fumetto technique, or is it something deeper?
I think it's a mix of things. The fumetto technique, where he blends the colors so smoothly, it creates this hazy effect, almost like the subject is emerging from a dream.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then there's that smile. It seems to change depending on how you look at it.
It's like she's inviting us into a conversation, but she's holding back, like she's got secrets.
Right. It's a mystery that we can only try to solve.
Maybe that's part of the appeal. It doesn't give us easy answers. It makes us think, makes us wonder.
Exactly. Great art doesn't just tell a story, it creates an experience. It stays with you long after you've seen it.
And the Mona Lisa definitely does that. It shows just how skilled Da Vinci was, how he could create something that's still relevant centuries later.
Absolutely, but the Mona Lisa, it's just one piece in a much bigger legacy. From Lady with an Ermine to The Last Supper, his paintings are still captivating. So what do you think are some of the key themes, the techniques that define his artistic style?
Well, one thing that always stands out to me is his mastery of light and shadow. He used that chiaroscuro technique, right, where he emphasizes the contrast to create depth and volume.
Yeah, that's a good one. And it goes back to his scientific mind, you know. He wasn't just painting what he saw, he was painting what he understood.
Exactly. And of course, we can't forget fumato, that blending we were talking about. It gives his paintings this almost otherworldly quality.
It's like he's blurring the line between reality and imagination, inviting us into this dreamlike world.
And his detail, especially when he painted people, those anatomical studies really paid off. The way he captured muscles, bones, skin. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, he was a master of both the physical and the metaphysical. He combined scientific precision with artistic expression. His paintings are beautiful, but they're also full of insight. But his impact goes way beyond just individual paintings, don't you think?
Definitely. He changed the way people thought about art.
Absolutely. Da Vinci, he was a pioneer of the High Renaissance, a time when there was this renewed interest in classical art, this focus on humanism. His work helped elevate the artist from just a craftsman to a true creative genius.
It's incredible how one person could have such a massive impact on art history.
And his influence, you can still feel it today. Artists are still pushing boundaries, exploring new ways of seeing the world because of him. So, as we wrap up our deep dive into the mind of Leonardo da Vinci, what are the key takeaways you hope our listeners walk away with?
I think the biggest takeaway is that Da Vinci's genius wasn't just about his talent, it was about his mindset. That constant observation, that tireless experimentation, the fearlessness to innovate. Those are the qualities that made him who he was.
He's a great reminder that curiosity is the key to unlocking our own potential, and that learning, it never really ends. It's a lifelong journey.
Right. And that the lines between art, science, engineering, even philosophy, are not always so rigid. Sometimes the best ideas come from making those connections, from seeing patterns that others miss.
Absolutely. It's like he was always flipping the script, making us see the world differently, question our assumptions, appreciate how everything is connected. And in a world that often feels divided, so specialized, that's a powerful message.
So if Da Vinci were alive today, what do you think would excite him the most?
Oh, that's a great question. I think with his boundless curiosity and his desire to push the limits, he'd be all over space exploration, artificial intelligence, maybe even biotechnology. Can you imagine him sketching plans for spaceships, debating the ethics of AI?
And his notebooks would be filled with digital sketches, 3D models, VR simulations. The possibilities are just mind-blowing.
They really are. But even as we imagine Da Vinci in today's world, we can't forget that his legacy is more than just technology. It's about a way of thinking, a way of being that celebrates curiosity, creativity, that interconnectedness of everything.
So as we close out this deep dive, I want to encourage everyone listening to tap into their own inner Da Vinci. Embrace that curiosity, explore new ideas, never stop learning, never stop creating.
And maybe, just maybe, if we follow his example, we can unlock our own hidden potential and make the world a little bit brighter.
What a great note to end on. Thanks for joining us for this incredible journey into the mind of Leonardo da Vinci. We'll see you next time for another deep dive.
It was a pleasure exploring his world with you.